This is a week of trades leading up to the NBA draft. The Wizards right in the middle of it all after acquiring Chris Paul in the Bradley Beal trade. They moved him to Golden State to join the Warriors for Jordan Poole. Washington also sending Kristaps Porzingis to Boston in a three-team trade where Marcus Smart went to Memphis. Tyus Jones came to D.C., but the big story, how a 38-year-old CP3 fits on the Warriors roster, and they've got a lot of questions in front of them this offseason. NBA front office insider Bobby Marks joining us now to break things down. Mike Dunleavy Jr., your first task as the first GM in your first week here is to kind of figure things out. You have this to-do list. Draymond Green certainly at the top here, but free agency starts in exactly a week. What must he address with the Warriors right now?
Well, it's certainly going to be Draymond right off the bat. They did the Chris Paul, Jordan Poole swap. Remember, 4 years of Jordan Poole goes out, 2 years of Chris Paul comes in. The second year is non-guaranteed here. It's important to remember, this year their payroll is still going to be $500 million.
Unbelievable.
It's more about years 2, 3, and 4, and it gives them a clear runway from flexibility-wise for Draymond as far as how long they can extend him and as far as what the price point is going to be. But they still have limited options this year as how they are going to build this bench out. Veteran minimum. You saw them, Trace Jackson Davis in the draft, Brandon Pozinski from Santa Clara, guys that can come in and play right now. But certainly the focus is going to be on Draymond. First time ever entering free agency.
We will see how that plays out. You know that, of course, he loves hearing from people around the league. Oh, you like me? You like me? We'll see how that plays out. As for the team that eliminated the Warriors, the Lakers, they would certainly like them. GM Rob Pelinka has 10 players entering free agency. Do they retain D'Angelo Russell? How about Austin Reaves, Rui Hachimura, or search for a third star next to LeBron and AD, such as Kyrie Irving? What moves do you expect to see from LA to kind of shore up this roster?
I think it's going to be running it back. I think when you look at Austin Reaves and Rui Hachimura, they drafted Jalen Hood-Schifino from Indiana. The going out and searching for a third might have worked under the old CBA. We've got this new collective bargaining agreement. I think the Lakers will learn their lesson as far as three players earning $40 million or more, and then you're basically surrounding them with minimum players. I think the contract of Jared Vanderbilt gets guaranteed. Big question is what happens with D'Angelo Russell, as you mentioned. They had the 12.4 non-tax mid-level exception. Does Dennis Schroeder potentially come back here? But I'm looking at Hachimura and Reaves as the main focus here. I don't see them going out and going after Kyrie Irving. It would cost so much to go out and do that.
Yeah, Austin Reaves, though, he has been a shining light for this team and this program, trying to figure out things, and a guy who's a reliable shooter. He's not part of a big three, but he's somebody you can count on, specifically when you watch LeBron and AD make that deep run in the postseason. Bobby, thank you so much. For much more on the NBA draft, let's send it back to PTI and Tony and Mike.
All right, Wilbon, what were your impressions of the NBA draft?
Tony, that it was so predictable. It was, a total bore. I mean, it went the way everybody's mock draft wound up being, either accurate or accurate in the most, to the great part. So the draft is not what intrigued me. It was the other movement. It was the trades. It was Marcus Smart leaving Boston and going to Memphis. Porzingis, going to Boston and people thinking that's an upgrade when I don't. Chris Paul going to Golden State, which a lot of people don't think makes sense, and I do. So there were a lot of things that happened with veteran players on teams that are in the spotlight, that matter, that are contenders. And I think all of that mattered. Of course, Bradley Beal a few days earlier going to Phoenix. All that mattered in the draft was like an also-ran to me. I don't know that other than Wembanyama, it was like, eh.
So this is interesting to me because you are mentioning people who have been in the NBA for years and years and who we have a sense of.
Right.
And in the draft, and we have a sense of Wembanyama because of all the publicity around him. Okay, we have that sense. But in the draft, we don't know any of these people. Like, I won't say we. I don't know any of these people
I didn't know many.
At all. I mean, there's in the top 5 picks, only one, Brandon Miller of Alabama, had gone to college. There were only 3 seniors taken in the entire draft, obviously leading you to believe that if you play long enough in college, you have played too long. For example, Oscar Tshiebwe, who 2 years ago was the College Player of the Year, undrafted. He signed, but undrafted. Drew Timme, who you loved him at Gonzaga. Undrafted. 60 picks, undrafted. So So for me, it becomes almost like the NFL draft when the quarterbacks are done. And I could sit there and I have no idea who's actually going to play next year.
For these size-challenged teams, can't Drew Timme help you? Really? You'd rather play small ball than have him? Is that what the NBA's come to? It's like the 6'4" and under league now. Unless you can go to 7'4", then they'll take you number one.
Yeah.
That's it. We're done.